Not to be forgotten is the ignoble attempt El-Rufai made to hijack Nigeria from the rest of us in the days before the primaries for the 2023 general elections. Knowing that the presidency was coming to the South and based on the nation-saving convention in place, he did everything possible to hijack the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the hope of making himself the vice president of Nigeria to any of the weak persons he was projecting for president, which would have made him the de facto president and ultimate dictator. He was so hell-bent on this agenda that he misled the then President Muhammadu Buhari to append his signature to a zoning document that is subsequently leaked. This plot almost set the country on fire because of the implication of having a president's signature appended to a zoning arrangement that had no place in the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended. It took the maturity of political stakeholders to avert the calamitous meltdown that would have ensued. Gentlemen of the press, El-Rufai only morphed into the Tinubu campaign after his aforementioned plot failed. His participation in the Tinubu camp was not without him exhibiting his incurable extremism and overbearing disposition, as he was basically parading himself as the arrowhead of the then incoming government. In pursuit of his Nigeria domination agenda, he proposed a super ministry for himself, the Ministry of Works and Energy, for which he has mobilized the destructive squad that he passes off as, in quote, a team of technocrats, the lie he has used to deceive Nigerians in the past. This is in addition to positioning himself as the equivalent of a prime minister, considering the amount of power he wanted to wield. At this juncture, we acknowledge the efforts of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the security and intelligence community for taking a principled stand that ensured that the evil that El-Rufai represents was not allowed to gain further ground. While the details of the security report have not been officially made public, we are certain that it involves the hateful repression of the interests of Christians and other ethnic minorities outside of El-Rufai's own ethnicity. The repression also targets the cultural, socio-political, and economic interest of those he aims to victimize. Such behavior has no place in modern times and at least in a democracy. The intelligence community properly documented his atrocities and ongoing plot to dominate Nigeria, while the Senate stood its ground not to confirm him as a minister based on the troubling security report about him. We thank President Tinubu for heeding the advice of the security agencies and the Senate by not insisting that this evil entity become part of his government. The refusal to make El-Rufai a minister shows that Mr. President, the Senate, and the intelligence community are alive to their responsibility. It must be noted that the vantage El-Rufai would have had would have thrown tantrums had there been no damaging evidence against him. The quietude with which he accepted his being barred from the cabinet and scoring away is ominous and should not be taken for granted. He can only maintain such a mien because he has further horrors planned for the country. Consequently, Nigerians, especially the Christian population and ethnic minorities, are still not safe from the threat spearheaded by El-Rufai. As mentioned earlier, the cause he is supposedly running in a cover. As mentioned earlier, the cause he is supposedly running is a cover for him to internationalize his Islamization agenda, as he is able to meet with extremists from other countries to plot wars evils for the country.